Dove here, and today we have a new episode in the channel. And I'm trying to post more consistently. Obviously, that's part of my goals because I want to be more active on this channel. And I was thinking, you know what? Can I do? Is it possible for me to do like at least 2 videos a day? Is that possible? It doesn't always have to be like 30 minutes long. I can just do like a quick sketch or something to just be there online, because I know not everyone wakes up in the same time. Obviously, many people watch globally, so you know, not all videos will be watched at the same time. So by the way, just to I want to do a quick sketch today, and I was thinking of continuing because I do want to do more lasso fill studies in Clip Studio Paint, and even more so concerning the Evangelion subject. But I kind of want to do characters too, because I feel like things can get dull if you focus on just one subject. I mean, I do know you can learn a lot by having this intense specific focus, but sometimes it can be draining or kind of tiring if you just focus on one thing. So having a bit of diversity, varying things up a bit, I think helps. So maybe a character. I want to try drawing a face with the lasso fill. And by the way, I am using my XP Pen Pro 22E Pro, so I'm going to use a screen tablet. And more and more, I think I'm enjoying using my screen tablet a bit more than my Wacom Intuos Pro S. It's a standard graphic tablet. So yeah, you know, we'll do some warm-ups with this type of reference. It's a character sheet, I guess, of this mech, and I'll try just, you know, copying it a bit. Just whenever you plot your like shapes down, you don't have to get it right the first time, because you can always cut it, edit it, make adjustments over it, right? So there's a guy who paints like this. I think he does it in his iPad, I think. Kobe Sek, I think he's Singaporean. I did an art review of the guy, but I really enjoy his approach using I think he in some of his sketches you'll see on his YouTube channel, he'll post like or he'll start off the sketch with like a lasso fill, kind of like what I'm doing, and then he'll paint over it eventually. Oh, by the way, let me just switch my shortcut here, because I think I want to color pick from this photo here from PureRef. There's a way to do it in Clip Studio Paint. For me, the shortcut for my color picker, my pick screen color picker, is X. You can change the shortcut obviously in your, I think, edit file, and then shortcut settings. I think in my XP Pen settings, my pen settings for Clip Studio Paint is also, so when you have right click on, it's automatically the color picker in Clip Studio Paint, but I kind of want to change it for now, since I want to reference the colors. And I mean, I can do it like, I can just hit the X button, but I want to use the shortcut for my pen. We'll try X. Okay. So we'll save it for now, minimize it. There you go. So if I color pick from this guy, I can get the green. Alright? Moist! So I think that's pretty cool. Oh, and I've also learned that let me just select the color. I've also learned that when it comes to your like lights and shadows, it's best to do it after, whenever you have this lasso fill kind of approach, because it takes you're trying to do many things at once. So I think in the beginning you just want to focus on where the major blobs are, and I like to say blobs because you're not going to be, whenever you add in these shapes, it's not going to be that accurate. Because obviously the lasso fill, it's not a very accurate. Even if you use the screen tablet with your pen, you can get a bit more accuracy with it, but it's going to be a bit blobby. So don't worry about the accuracy so much in the beginning. Focus more on just the blobs, the major areas. Think of it like a watercolor wash. If you've ever painted with watercolors, you're not going to be as specific because it bleeds, and obviously the brush, it's not a very accurate medium, and it can get a bit messy eventually. So don't feel too bad about it. So do we have the major blobs, and I do know we have like a neck thing here. It's kind of maroon. It looks like skin or something. And so I think I'm doing this because I want to do some warm-ups first. And I'm doing this session not only to do warm-ups, but to kind of switch things up a bit, because I'm kind of tired with the black and white studies. I still want to focus on Evangelion. I think it's a good enough subject, and it's interesting enough for me. But you know, I want to. I guess I'm changing things up here by adding some color. So instead of it being black and white, I can just color pick from the reference photo and enjoy myself a bit. I don't have to be that like strict. And art is supposed to be fun. And I think that's also one thing I want to focus on this year is changing my approach to art. It's not just about being aggressive, being I've talked about many things that I want to do this year. Just check out my recent videos on this subject, but I also want to make it fun. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm studying this because I need to learn anatomy, and I need to learn this because it's going to help me in the future. Like, those types of goal setting is good, but like I think I forgot to like why this is fun, or how this is actually pretty fun. And it's nice to just make marks on the page, and there's a lot of joy that happens when you do art, right? It doesn't have to be like super intellectual, and it's not bad. It doesn't have to be an either or. Just make sure you try and balance this lifestyle. Now, I know balance is an overused word. It's kind of like saying both sides. It's kind of annoying, but it's the truth. So you can't really do you see how messy it is? It doesn't have to be that good. But yeah, make it fun. I need to have more fun when it comes to making this sort of thing. And by the way, I can always fix things up later, so it being accurate is not the point. We have this, and then just make sure we plot down the major areas, right? So once we have the major blobs in, I guess we can start sectioning things. So we're going to use the black color here, and whenever I'm doing slimmer like shapes, I just think of making smaller or thinner ellipses. So it's kind of like, if this is like a normal ellipse, kind of an ellipse, just thin it like this, and you're basically creating a line. So a very thin ellipse. Whenever you're doing the cuts, just think of doing that. Wow. Yeah, it's pretty fun. But the neck is a bit thinner. Shit. That's the wrong color. Oh, by the way, for this lasso fill, it's a 96% opacity. Because I feel like if it's 100%, it's a bit too flat. And it can get like, boring a bit. As much as I'm tempted to do the shadows, I can do it after. By making maybe a clipping mask and then, reducing the opacity, something like that. So there's well, let's do some more cuts here. There you go. There's a line here. Like a black area. And like this. Cuts here. I can maybe do this after, but I think better to do the cuts maybe now. Again, I'm still trying to figure out my own process for when it comes to using this tool. And if you want to know the proper or the best process for you, whatever your medium is, you can only really do it and figure it out if you actually do the work and create your own stuff or studies. It's about making art. You can't just there's no clear answer for this one solution for everything. You need to figure it out on your own. And that's something that I think people need to get used to. As much as educational videos are good, in the end you have to figure it out on your own. And looks kind of messed up, but right now we're just enjoying ourselves, okay? Relax. Alright? And there is an appeal to your work if it's not as clean. I mean, think of Impressionism, think of sketches online, even if it's unfinished. It's still admirable, and it gets oftentimes way more likes than actual full finished pieces because there's like a raw element to it. It just feels more human, I guess. And even given the whole AI art thing, you can stand out a bit more through your mistakes because it makes you feel more and look more human. So it's not all bad. And when I'm doing these studies, sometimes I switch back and forth between trying to actually figure out the shapes and just blind copying. Because blind copying, copying things one-to-one more or less, it's kind of fun because you can lose yourself and just not think too much. But at the same time, are you actually gaining new knowledge? Are you improving actually? So that's kind of the struggle that I have, or the dilemma. Like, how do you again balance that situation? Alright. Is it accurate? Not really. So we'll try moving this a bit, because I want to see the layers, obviously. So yeah, it's been almost 15 minutes, so I feel like I could have done more in 15 minutes. Maybe the tool is slowing me down because I've done sketches without the lasso fill, just a basic brush where I can finish and create something pretty interesting within 15 minutes. So Maybe it's because I'm too focused. Okay, let me just make a new layer. New layer, make it the clipping mask, Control Alt G. And then we'll make the opacity 50% ish. And then we'll pick just a black. We'll make it less, maybe 35. Okay, we'll try this. We can always adjust the opacity later. Let me just focus on this. Look at how the designs are when it comes to these Evangelion mechs. It's so cool. And it looks so... It's like the perfect balance of this mechanical slash biological thing. So shadow here in the neck. A bit here. And then this part is in shadow. There you go. And then we have something here. Same thing here. Just like it concaves, I think. I think that's the right word. Below, and this part of the armor is in shadow. And even if you don't get everything right in this stage, you can always paint over it, and I think that's the secret to this thing. Is it better? Kinda. Hey, it's not that bad. I mean, it's kind of messy, but hey. Hopefully you learned, or you can use the color picker thing, or advice. Because there's, where is it? I think it's in the edit. I'm not sure where I forgot where, but you can select, I think. Select. Just understand that this tool exists, the pick screen color. I'm not sure where it is, but once you find it, make a shortcut for it. And if you want, you can make it a shortcut for your pen. I usually don't use this because I don't always have a reference on the side. And I may just bring the reference inside Clip Studio Paint, so there's also that, but it's not bad. It's a nice tool to have. So you don't have to, it's a bit more agile, I guess. So, should I paint over this? Fuck, it's been 17 minutes. And again, yeah, for the videos, I want to do like quicker stuff and not as intense. I'm trying to experiment, so that's also something that you should learn, is you need to do a lot of experimentation. So let me just hit Control G for these two and make a group for this guy. It's not a bad sketch, by the way. Hey, I'm pumping myself up here just because. So let's go back. I still want to try the lasso fill. Let's be more aggressive. I like the grays. So we'll try this pose right here. And have fun with it. So let's be messy. It's okay for messy. And don't be afraid to use the, the liquify stuff and such. You can always, don't be afraid to use the tools of the software. And as much as I preach learning how to paint with one brush, remember it's still your art, so you need to learn how to use or figure out your own process, and that process is going to involve certain tools within your own program. So don't be afraid to experiment and figure out the tools that work best for you and your art. And you figure that out by doing a lot of paintings and studies. And so far, I think I'm liking the fact that this lasso fill has a bit of opacity. It's 96%, so I think it gives me a bit more. It looks better, I think, because it feels more natural to me. Like like it doesn't feel like I'm fully committing, because if I have something that's 100%, it feels like that's the final thing. So I like the butt here. Ooh, can I? Oh, so let's just add the shadows here for the feet. And for the Evangelion mechs, they're kind of elongated. They're very tall people, tall mechs. And again, I'm not being that accurate. I'm just plotting things. Think of blobs when you're using the lasso fill tool. Doesn't have to be accurate. It just has to be there. Think of blobs or plotting where it is, or where things are roughly are. Right? So we'll make a new group for this guy to be safe. And then we'll move him, or her. I think it's a her, because it's piloted by the blue-haired chick. So tell me, how are you practicing your skills this year? For me, definitely, I think I'm trying to do a bunch of things, but when it comes to these sketches, I want to be more quicker, more direct, more raw. Obviously, I can post more with it, but at the same time, I can also what's the word? I can also, yeah, I can post more, but I can also create more work. So that means more experience. That means I get better. Shit, I'm using a brush. Lasso fill. Sorry, my bad. Should I make a new layer or just leave it as it is? Okay, I'll make a new layer, so I won't paint directly on this gray thing. So we'll just plot these points here. We're still using the 96 opacity. Should I place in the blacks first? Oh, by the way, in the lasso fill extension for Photoshop, I've mentioned this before, I think you have like gradient options in it. You don't have those in Clip Studio Paint. So if you have Photoshop, I do recommend downloading that extension. Because it's nice. Now the thing for me is that if in my experience with my setup with my computer, maybe it's a bit slow, so I'm not using it. Photoshop in general for me, it can speed up sometimes, but I have to keep playing with the settings, and I'm like, not worth it. When it comes to Clip Studio Paint, it hardly lags. Maybe for a brief moment when it's saving, so it makes sense, but aside from that, I'm like, because of that reliability, I'm sticking with, I have to at this point stick with the, and the butt cheeks in this guy is so nice. And what's cool about studying these mechs is I think it's transferable. Like the proportions can transfer to actual people because it is a humanoid physique or figure, right? Oh, jeez, how do I do the body? We'll figure it out. So I'll paint over this. Let's add some yellows here. Think blobs, think blob triangle. Just like a shadow. I won't do the whole clipping layer thing because it takes too long, I think. Or I'm already at 24 minutes based on like in the raw recording. So yeah. So it has like some traps here. Let me plot more yellows to be safe. It's somewhere like this. And then you have a bunch of like these greens. It's kind of green. Yeah, maybe I should have drawn the blacks for, or the darker values maybe. Again, I'm doing this rather quickly. So I guess I'm going to include this in my main file, because I have a file with the last, or with the previous Lassofill studies, so I may include this there. Oh, this one's kind of like a gray or a white. So when you're making thinner lines, make sure you think of ellipses, very thin ellipses, so that's where you can kind of draw things in terms of like line work. Or do a jaggedy kind of sweeping motion like this if you want to go in and make details. Even though it looks messy, I think it helps. And don't expect good line work with this, by the way, because obviously it's a lasso tool. And by the way, when you're trying to study things, when you have reference, think of negative space. For example, in this part right here, there's obviously a big white opening, and I lacked that area there, so. And if you're struggling with your proportions, if things are looking off, think of negative space. So this is kind of like a brown, essentially. So we'll just plot the browns. It doesn't have to be that accurate. Take it easy. So what else? Yeah, I'm going to post this video, I think, in my art demo / process playlist. And right now I'm thinking I'll stick to 3 major like playlists: the art hangout / commentary, where I just talk about random ideas. So essentially it's like a hangout session where I just hang out. It doesn't have to be that specific. It's like my random playlist basically. For the demo / process, it's kind of like this. Sometimes it's a real time, sometimes it's a time-lapse video. It's basically where I discuss the actual art process. Sometimes it will be in the art hangout. It really depends. If I have more than one subject to talk about, then it might end up being in a hangout session. But if it's mostly about the drawing process, painting process, illustration process, then it's going to end up in the art demo / process series. And I think the art reviews, I can change it a bit. Yes, I still want to feature artists, because I have a habit of just open link in new tab and seeing the works of that specific artist. But instead of just going over their work, I can find something that I like about their work. Maybe, you know, the line work or something, and then I can just talk about that one specific thing. Or maybe it's the way they post, or maybe it's the way they have large followings and how they were able to develop that audience. So the main thing there is still obviously about the art, or the artist / artist. But you know, I can be more specific with it, basically. So we'll try this dark green. Again, we're doing the blobs thing. Doesn't have to be accurate. It gets thinner on the way down. And again, these types of studies don't have to be super accurate. You're just trying to get the feel of things. And maybe that sounds like cope, because it is. But oh, there's some kind of gray here, like the love handles of the mech. You know, using the lasso filter, it's a bit weird, but once you're in it, once you're there using it, it's not that bad. It's kind of enjoyable to use, and it does encourage you again to be more playful or more less strict with yourself. I mean, you can make it. You can struggle and force yourself to make things accurate, but I think you are going to break when you use this tool, because it's just not easy to be as accurate. So eventually you'll realize that, oh, you know what, fuck it, you'll just start drawing and having fun, for the most part, I think. Excuse me. See, look at how messy it is. Or well, it's kind of messy, but it's somewhat accurate, so no harm done there. So we have a curve here, we have a curve here. Use this gray. And oh shit, it's been 30 plus minutes in the raw recording, so eventually we may have to stop. So based on my experience with doing these recordings, I can pretty much do one specific study, sure, within 30 minutes. I guess I am doing two, so it's going to take a bit longer, but at least I know the pacing. I can do a quick study within 15 to 30 minutes, because I think I accomplished this within 30 minutes or under 15 minutes, if my memory is correct. Oh, you can't see the reason why there's no head, because there's no actual head. Let me just draw these white thingies here. I love the calves too. We'll bring in some whites. Again, think of blobs. It doesn't have to be accurate. You can always fix things later with a paintbrush or pencil, or even with a lasso tool. But right now, focus on defining the edges of the thing. Or think of the blob. Sorry, think of the blobs. Or something happened. I think it was saving. So I want this red thing here to indicate the bottom of the foot. We'll add some darks here to show this patch of black, to show off the shoes a bit. Right? Not that bad. So again, if you want to figure out your studying routine, so I can do this because I'm balancing, actually studying, but at the same time making some content, making sure I actually record the session, so I can share it on the YouTubes, on the channel, and so just a reminder, I know you probably want to improve your art, but I think before anything else, I'm sure you have a plan or you have an ideal of what you want to achieve. That's good, but please focus if you're struggling with, or chances are you're struggling with the actual habit of showing up. I think that's a very common problem a lot of artists have, or creatives. It's actually showing up. So if there's one habit you should focus on and improve on and actually be aware of. It's your habit of just doing art and showing up. Because if you don't have the habit, you can't improve anything, right? Even if you're drawing something that's because you can always shift the type of content or the type of subject you want to study or draw or illustrate. But if you don't have that habit of just being on your or with your tools, with your sketchbook, with your pens, with your software, art software, whether Photoshop, Clip Studio Paint, Procreate, Krita, whatever, ZBrush, Blender. If you're not with that program, I think you need to prioritize developing the habit first and foremost. Excuse me, if you say you are an artist, you have to show up. And that doesn't have to be, like, even if you're doing something like this, like a quick sketch, a quick study, you're already affirming who you are. I recommend watching the last video I did on identity. I talked about it, and I linked an article by James Clear, one of his older posts, but I think it's still relevant. The identity, or the idea of identity-based goals, and you want that to be a primary factor in how you manage your, I guess, goals. We're adding, it looks like nipples here, but yeah, I'm really enjoying using this screen tablet of mine. Maybe in the future I'll buy something more accurate. And obviously the main big guy is the Wacom screen tablet, but I think it's still the boss. But I've seen some like Huion tablets because it's pretty large, but it doesn't have like a fan. So it's going to be much more manageable for a guy like me. I may try that out in the future, but you know, one of my goals with this channel is one day I really hope to like be given a free tablet, you know, because you see it a lot on YouTube where companies like, you know, XP Pen, Huion, whatever, Wacom maybe, they'll send you like tablets to review, and they're not even paying you, but sometimes they just want the product to be out there to be tested. And I want to be one. I want to establish myself enough to be one of those guys where they just send me tablets for free. And I know I'm not the only one who thinks this, by the way. Don't cope with me. I know who you are. Anyway. Let's make it darker. There you go. Imagine that one day you'll see me making I'll make a new section. It's a tablet review section. Ooh, ambitious. Oh yes, oh yes. Today or this year is my year. Oh, don't believe me? You're missing out, bruvs. You're missing out. By the way, I don't have to do this alone. You can join me if you have a channel, you know. Do as I do. If you want to be somewhat accountable, try to match my posting schedule too. Well, not like literally, but you get the point, you know. Just understand that someone else is also trying to do the same thing. Okay? And I think once you understand that other people are doing a similar thing to you, once you understand that you're not as alone as you think you are, it gets easier a bit. Things are a bit more bearable. So that's some motivation for you, my bruvs. And my dudettes, my dudes and dudettes. By the way, I think most of my viewers are in the US, in Brazil for some reason, and there are some Russians. That's nice. It does change. It's not always going to be accurate, or it won't always stay the same, but nice. I feel like I'm part of a larger community, you know. One day you'll see me maybe I'll have like 1 million subs and you'll be like, oh shit, I know that guy. He used to do a lot of like these quick sketches and stuff. We can dream, by the way, so. And I think it's the chase, it's the chase that really matters. But imagine that one day, 1 million subs. Imagine not to make it about money, but sometimes imagine the ad revenue. That would be so fucking cool. By the way, if you're an artist, don't be ashamed of thinking about money, of trying to make money with your art. You know what's dumb? There are artists out there who don't like it when you make money with art. Even if it's, you don't have to agree with the art, but for example, not safe for work art, or if you're a YouTuber, like, I don't understand why people still judge it, especially if they're artists. Like, are we supposed to remain poor? Like, what a fucking masochist. Sorry. But to the point, like, a bit of support there, right? Like, damn. Why do you have to be a dick? I mean, imagine the stereotypes. We're already known as being like, the whole starving artist thing. Oh, it's the poors. It's the plebeians trying to make money with their, shitty drawings and stuff. And obviously you're going to be triggered, right? Because, it hurts. Like, damn. But now that we have the internet, there's much more chance to be... we have more opportunities to make art, to make money, to make a living off of what we do, right? So I think we should take advantage of this. Now, you don't have to do this just for the money, obviously. If it's fun for you and you don't want to, you want to create that separation between your art and work, that's cool too. And, but hopefully you get my point. Like, there are people out there that are just mean and just kind of mentally not there. Right? Like, god damn, a bit of support from your bruvs, bruh. The shame. Have you no shame? Oh, the butt is the... Oh. Man, the feet is all effed up, but we can make it work. Oh. Oh, by the way, there's I believe he's Japanese. He makes... there was like a short film on this guy. He makes his artwork with Excel, Microsoft Excel, with the spreadsheet, I believe. And his work looks like it was done with the lasso tool. I'll try to link the video. I'll try to find the video and link it because it's amazing. By the way, if I mention something in the video and I don't link it, just tell me to remind me, and I'll do it. Because sometimes these sessions do last fairly long, so I may forget. Anyway. Beep, beep, beep. By the way, I'm listening to some lo-fi music. You can't hear it, but... because I'm not sure if it's copyright. I usually just play the airport lounge, which I did buy. I forgot, but it's a very like classic, not classic, but it's I'm sure you've heard of it. It's like an actual airport lounge music. The piano thing. But it's not as calming as the music I hear, the chill lo-fi music I hear as I do this art sessions of mine. Trying to draw the finger here. You can't tell. I still want to be able to draw, one of the hardest things I've seen, or that I'm just thinking about it makes me nervous. It's hands and feet. Because there's way more forms in it, way more like limbs. Like the hands and feet, they have limbs, especially the hands. It has like arms within the arms. It's kind of like its own body, so there's that. Oh shit, it's been 45 minutes. The raw recording anyway. So I think I'll stop to study here because I think it's been a while. And these types of videos do take time to re-render because I do have to edit the audio a bit to kind of remove the clicks and stuff, and to kind of clean up the audio, and obviously the other stuff. Let me just fix up the hand here. The thumb is not that long. It's actually kind of thin. Ooh. It's not accurate, but I'll do what I can. Even if it's not fully like there or fully clean, you do get the gist of it, and I think that's what matters the most. Wow, you see that? Whoa, the hand suggestion is magnifique. Magnifique. Excusez-moi. Excuse my French. Je ne comprends pas le français. Wow, multilingual. Ooh. By the way, I also want to be multilingual just because it's amazing and it's cool. And obviously, it'll get some attention, right? Sorry. Okay, I think I'll stop here. I think it's too much. If I pursue this further, you might get. Anyway, I think I'll stop here. Let me just flip the canvas. It's not that bad. It's not a bad study. Okay, I know it sounds like I'm coping, but I'm not. So if I hide it, by the way, this is not in a clipping mask, or in a clipped file, or sorry, layer. But if you from afar, it looks pretty detailed, right? Oh shit! The power of the lasso fill. So let me just move this around. And this guy right here. Oh shit! So we can do more of these, and oh, this is the first file. Let me just put the second file here. So we'll stop the recording here. Yeah, so do whatever you have to do today, whatever your subject of focus is. Spend some time, 15 minutes at the very least. And I think I started this video by talking about how I wanted to post more videos and do more quick sketches, and I think I failed in that it's pretty much we're closing in on 50 minutes in the raw recording, so I may have failed, but I did learn something. I can do like a quick, if I may, a quick sketch like this. Let me just make it red, right? For like 15 plus minus minutes. So if I can do this, you can probably do something like this too. For something like this, if I add one more study or subject, it's going to end up being 30 plus minutes. And it may eventually lead to an hour if you try and clean up the image. So there's that. So bare minimum, I should at least try and do something quick like this. It doesn't have to be with the lasso fill. I can use some of my brushes here to kind of vary things up a bit, and it doesn't have to be like Evangelion too. And I can draw like samurai, soldiers, whatever's cool, or maybe some studies in human anatomy, whatever. But at least I know I can do something like this for 15 plus minus minutes, and I can do a video of it. If I can do like a 40 plus video on this, I can clearly do like a 10-15 minute video. So there are no excuses. But so I did learn that it's very possible And if I do more than that, it's going to take some time, close to an hour basically. So I should be more wary with my time and know the limits. So learn to manage your time too. If you're very busy, try to find time to make a 15-minute sketch or drawing or study. And I think that's more than enough. If you do it every day, I think it adds up. So that's it for this video. Keep drawing, keep painting, and stay free.